Howdy, welcome back. So today we're going to look at the Browning Nomad and the Browning Challenger. These are very cool, very high quality 22 pistols from Browning that were manufactured in the 1960s primarily. I believe they started the first production in late 61 and some in 62, but most sources say that the majority of the production started in around 1963. And they went through about 1972 for full production, and then the Challenger and the Medalist, some of the Medalist models, which was the higher end target version of this pistol, and the International Medalist were produced until sometime in 1975. But the majority of the production was between 63 and about 73, 74. The Nomad is the budget version of this very cool space age looking streamlined kind of James Bond man with the golden gun looking pistol, and the original ones and about half of the production, well, I don't know exactly, but the early production was with this aluminum frame. This one has an aluminum frame, and the later production has a steel frame. It is significantly heavier. This one weighs about 750 grams and this one weighs about 1,050 grams, or about 1 pound 10 ounces to about 2 pounds 5 ounces in the King's English. The Nomad has thinner plastic grips. They feel very good. They feel much more modern to the modern ergonomic standards. It doesn't have a slide lock like the Challenger does. As you can see, the Challenger has a slide lock, or the last round hold open for the slide, and the Medalist also has that. The Medalist was much higher priced and higher end target pistol. I don't know much about them. I've never actually handled one, but they're quite rare, quite desirable, very expensive. Built on the same action and same frame, uses the same magazines. Some of the Medalists have a wooden forend that you can adjust the weights in it as well. And some Medalists had round barrels, and some Medalists had slab side barrels. And some of them had were grooved on the top of the barrels for mounting a scope or an optic, and some weren't. That's about my extent of knowledge of the Medalists, but this was my dad's Challenger. They later tried to make a sequel to build on the name and reputation of the Challenger called the Challenger 2 in the later 70s, I believe, in the 80s, and then that transitioned into the Buckmark series in about 1985-ish. I'm not sure about that, don't quote me on that. But as you can see, the polishing on this is lovely. Bluing is flawless. This one's in fairly good condition. My dad didn't typically abuse his guns. It has some scratches in the wood. But as you can see, the grip is much more of a target style grip with a very pronounced sort of bottle shaped grip. And it is much more amenable to single-handed style target shooting, the bullseye style shooting, than the modern, two-handed thumbs forward style grip. You wouldn't really, it doesn't really feel comfortable when you try to do it two-handed. You can do it, but it just doesn't feel right. This one you can get away with that because it feels kind of more like it's not really 1911 because of the grip angle, but it is slim, much slimmer, so you can kind of treat it like a more modern gun. They both have excellent triggers, particularly considering the price of the Nomad. This one has a trigger that weighs about 2 pounds 10 ounces or so. Very, very crisp, very lovely, the traditional typical glass icicle break. This one has a trigger that is just over 2 pounds, so it's very pleasant to shoot, and it's it travels very predictably as it breaks and resets very predictably as well. It kind of feels just like a little switch. You just switch, 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 switch. It's very nice to shoot. Magazines are 10 rounds, and the original ones are extremely expensive now. That's one of the downsides of this. You can get these Nomads in particular, you can get them for a fairly good deal. I got this one for under 300 monetary units in 2025 from one of the more popular auction sites. You can kind of see that the anodizing has a little bit more of a purpley color on the frame. Anyway, the seller said that it was made in 1960, and they also said that it was reblued. Both of those are incorrect, but they meant well, and I don't blame them. But this was made in 1966, and I believe what they did here was that was just either some chemical or abrasive removal of the anodizing right there in that one spot. And it looks to me like they either tried some aluminum black or maybe just some magic marker or something to kind of cover up that spot. The way it's shaped looks a little bit like either somebody tried to remove it with something chemical and then they thought better of it, or something dripped on it and took that anodizing off. I don't know what that possibly could have been, but it doesn't really bother me, especially for the price. And as I was saying, the magazines are extremely rare and desirable, and usually go for about $150 now. Sorry, monetary units, since you can't talk about prices on YouTube or whatever. However, there is a workaround if you are handy with a sanding drum, or if you want to check my other videos, there's a video on how to modify a Beretta Neos 22 magazine, which are about $20. You just need to sand down the follower a little bit and take the hump off, and then you sand a little bit off the bottom of the base pad so that the European style locking latch will latch onto there. And that holds it in well enough so that you can shoot it. Both of these pistol models were available with 6.5 inch barrels. I believe this is about 6.5 inches. And 4.5 or 4.25, something like that. This is obviously the shorter one. It's a little bit more handy, packable for kind of outdoor banging around the woods use. And they both were available for a time with both this shark fin style or post front sight and this later ramp style. Obviously the ramp is preferable if you want to be able to change out the blade. Both come with adjustable rear sights, and the sight picture is black on black serrated with the Patridge style undercut for the front sight. The front sight of the Challenger rather is serrated, and the Medalist is as well. The Nomad is not. It's more of a budget thing, and it's actually pretty shiny. I don't know if I can get a picture of it, but the surface of it is polished and would be pretty reflective if you had the right angle on it, but it creates a very nice sight picture otherwise. All right, so let's shoot these things. This is the Nomad. That was a good strike. That's just some crappy Herter's 22 ammo, so I won't blame that malfunction on the gun. That's also the first malfunction I've experienced with that pistol. Let's try the Challenger. I can get this to focus again. All right, let's try a different angle. This is the Nomad first. Let's try one-handed. No last round hold open on that one. Very nice trigger. So this is the Challenger. So I hope you enjoyed that look at these cool kind of space age 22s that were competing with the Ruger of the day and have been superseded and outdated, and they were extremely expensive to produce apparently, so they went to a more cheaply made modern pistol, but you can still get the good stuff if you look around. Nomads are the budget version. They don't have a slide lock. The Challenger is the mid-level or kind of the premium. They have a slide lock lever. Usually come with wooden target style grips. And the Medalist is the premium, ultra premium target version, competition version. If you like that video, please give it a like, give it a thumbs up, give it a share. I'd appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm when you engage and comment. I read all your comments. I look for comments every day. I respond to everything if I can. So really appreciate your support, and stay safe, have fun. See you next time.